Recently, BDI sent me these foldable Patch G2 antennas for the DJI Goggles 2. And just like the standard Goggles 2 antennas, these patches fold nicely out of the way so that you can stash them in your flight bag without having to take them off. And they're so beautifully made, they almost look like they're an OEM DJI accessory. But are they any good, and do you need them? Well, I'm going to try these in a real-world range and penetration torture test and show you the results. And that way, you can decide if they're for you. And if you enjoy or find this video helpful, it'd be fantastic if you could give it a like, subscribe, or maybe just leave a comment to say hello, just to let me know what you think. Hello, and welcome to the Whirly Bloke channel. BDI have designed these so that you can leave them on your goggles without having to continually remove them to pack them away. And that's really important because if you have to unplug them, these MCX connectors on here, although they're relatively robust, do have an insertion mating cycle count. And if you keep plugging them in and out, they will eventually wear out. And high frequency signals are very easily upset by bad connections. So if you're going to make aftermarket patch antennas, they should be designed to stay on the goggles all the time, and this is what the Patch G2 antennas do. Now, fitting these really couldn't be simpler. You just pull those out. These are the standard antennas, and these are handed, by the way, so it shows left and right. And which way around do these go? They go onto there, like that. Very, very simple. And you can see they look fantastic and they fold in and out like that. Now, having this nice rotation is great, and it does mean that they can stay on your goggles even when you pack them away in your flight bag. And in here there's some PTFE bearings that make it feel very smooth when you're moving around, and the friction on these is adjustable with these little hex bolts here, and they include a little hex key there for adjusting those. And they're just beautifully made. Apparently 100% in the UK, and they're left-hand circularly polarised to match the stock air unit antennas, and these got a gain of between 8.25 and 9.0 dBi, and they weigh between them 42 grams, so you're not going to notice them when they're on your head. And these cost £56.99 in the UK, and probably a similar dollar price in the US. And you can also get this luxury branded ultra soft luxe goggle bag for an extra £19.99. Really, actually, I'll wear those as gloves. And as I've done with all my long range tests of VTXs, I'll be doing a ground test with these and compare the range and performance using the stock antennas and then again with these patch antennas. And yet again, I'll be using a test rig strapped to my cycle helmet and leave the goggles on the dash in my car. Now, this is a test rig that I'm going to be using. It's basically an O3 air unit with a camera attached to an old piece of frame. I've got a fan on top to keep everything nice and cool. Got the antenna, of course. And I'll be strapping this to my cycle helmet and riding my e-bike along the same route for each test. One with the stock antennas and then one with the Patch G2 antennas. And then I'll compare the DVR footage. The observant of you may well be asking, what the hell is this weird circuit board on there? Well, there's nothing to stop you using the O3 air unit and the Goggles 2 standalone, and I've done this on my FPV RC cars before. But the problem is, without a flight controller board and a RC receiver and transmitter, the air unit won't work on full transmit power. It needs to receive an arm signal on its serial link to turn that on. When you power it up and connect the goggles, it will work fine, but it will always stay in low power mode. And there's a very good reason for that. It's to stop it overheating when you're on the ground waiting to take off. Even if you flick the switch in the menu in your goggles to say don't use low power mode, it still won't go into full power mode. Now that's all great, but it does make it pretty useless for things like FPV RC cars and, in this case, my test rig. So this is a simple Arduino running some open source code that connects to the air unit. And what it does is sends the arm signal on the S bus 3 seconds after this powers up. I'll see if I can show you that. So if I power this up, you'll see a little green light come on here to show that there's power on, and then after 3 seconds the yellow LED will come on indicating it's pushing the arm signal onto the air unit. There we go, fans come on, green lights come on, and then we've got the yellow LED to show that that's now in full power mode. If I sit here for long enough, that is going to get hot, but I've got the fan on here, so it will keep it fairly cool. Plus I've added a simple 5-volt regulator to power the Arduino and the DC fan. And if you want to know more about this, leave me a comment and maybe I'll make a video about it. It's very useful for FPV RC cars. And I've strapped all this to my cycle helmet, and I just need to brave the cold and wet weather and go out and run the tests on my e-bike. Now I'm focusing on ground range and penetration capabilities of the Patch G2 antennas with these goggles. This isn't about raw distance, it's about maintaining a clear, reliable signal in tough conditions. And yes, I could do this with the drone, but these ground tests let me be a bit more objective because it's in a much more controlled environment. And remember, this isn't a test of absolute range, so actual distance isn't what I'm looking for. It's a relative test to see how these patch antennas work compared to the stock antennas. So I've got the goggles on the dash of my car, and there's no mods to them or to the O3 air unit. There's no FAA hacks or anything like that. And the transmit power of the O3 air unit in the UK, regulated under CE standards, is limited to 14 dBm, which is pretty much 25 milliwatts. This is on one of my usual routes for VTX testing, and it's pretty much clear line of sight for the first 700 meters. And on the left is the DVR using the stock DJI antennas, and on the right it's the Patch G2 antennas. The important thing to look at here is the bit rate. Since it's variable with the O3 and it ranges from 50 megabits per second down to 0, it gives us a great measure of the signal quality. So up to about 700 meters before I turn off, the bit rate is 50 megabits per second with a few little dips caused by the big building on the left. It's basically a huge recycling plant. But if you look carefully, the patch antennas dip down at the same time as the stock antennas, but not by quite as much. So it's already looking like it's doing a better job. So down this track, there's all the recycling building on the left, which is massive, and there's a metal fence, trees and bushes, and that's a pretty tough test for this. Focus mode is just starting to creep in on the left, and the bit rate's down to around about 3 megabits per second now. The patch antennas are dipping a bit as well, but not quite as much, maybe around 7 to 8 megabits per second. On the standard antennas, this is getting unflyable now. The bit rate is anything between 0 and 1 megabit per second, and it's stuttery, and the image is dropping out badly with lots of freezing. The patch antennas are also struggling, but not as much. It's not ideal, but it's still very flyable. There we go. Standard antennas have dropped out completely now, but the patch antennas are hanging in there. And now they've stopped as well. As far as I'm concerned, anything that improves VTX range and stability has got to be a good thing, and these Patch G2 antennas definitely do that. Now the improvement isn't massive, but I didn't ever expect it to be. but they do give you more range and fend off that pesky focus mode display for longer than the stock antennas. Plus, they look pretty nice and they don't really get in the way. But of course, there's a catch. With great gain comes a narrower beam width. I did a few random flights with these, and if you fly off to the side or behind, the patch starts sulking a bit and dropping its bit rate down to around 30 megabits per second compared to the 40 that you would have with the stock antennas. But let's be honest, when you're buying something with more precision, you know what you're signing up for. Remember, these are patch antennas, so they're much more directional than the stock ones, and you need to be facing the drone as much as possible. And then there's the design. Foldable, practical, and so sleek, it looks like DJI built it themselves. Sure, it costs a bit more, but what price do you put on performance? And if you're serious about range and stability, these are definitely worth having a look at. And I'm just going to be leaving these on my goggles for good from now on. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please subscribe. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can follow me there as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.